Yo, what's good? Praise Yah. Welcome in, family. So I want to try something, I guess, a little bit different today. We got to go ahead and pause that. Turn the volume down. So, SimCity, Big World Media, shout out to you, brother. So right now he's giving away a key group. He just needs to get like one more like on his post to make it worth his while. So I put a link and I pinned it up in the chat window. If you guys can go click on that, go give that a thumbs up because I'm trying to try out his key groups. But also SimCity asked me a question if I could do a video tutorial on a specific subject regarding like key groups and layering key groups. So I'm going to go through with my little idea here in a second and show that process. So maybe SimCity will pop in here. If not, we'll catch the replay. But then I wanted to open it up and see if I could maybe help any of you guys if you have any kind of lingering NPC questions that I could cover in some live streams in the future. And then I'll probably chop them up and chop them out and put them into a video so more people can see it and benefit from that. So I haven't been really too super focused on the NPC tutorial videos in a while. But if you guys do have questions, I think this is an opportunity to do that. And I think we're live. I don't see anybody out there yet, quite yet. But yeah, so if you find some value in that, go ahead and drop it in the chat window or on the replay in the comment section. And it's something I'll think through and see if I have an answer for you. Then I will put it in a future stream. Maybe you'll be able to catch that. Probably not. I probably won't label the streams that, but I'll just try to get them in at some point in the streams if I can. And then chop it out, like I said, and put it in a video. So yeah, if you like that, if you want to support the channel, there is one way of doing that. Hey, real quick, if I can grab your attention before we get into the content and have you head into the description where there'll be a link to my sample pack store. This is a great way you can support the channel, get something in return. If you ever found any kind of value from what I do over here and you're an MPC user or an SP44 Mark II user, I specialize in packs for that. I also got some free stuff over there, so please do head over and feel free to download those. All right. Cool. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just a regular stream, kind of laid back if you guys want to chat about anything. A little bit disappointed, I guess. Maybe I put my hopes in gear a little bit too much, but I made an assumption, and I think a lot of us assumed with the NPC Live being discontinued that there would be an announcement over the weekend at Super Booth, but there wasn't. So, but a couple of interesting things came out, like the 1010 Music Bento. That's definitely intriguing, just being someone that loves samplers, you know. But of course, it's all gas. You don't need anything. I don't need anything extra. What I really need to do is just focus on music. But I do like to chat about this stuff and geek out. And let's see, SimCity Big World Media, you made it in. So yeah, man, I don't know if you figured this out yet. Regardless, I'm going to share it because that's kind of the topic of the video today. You're asking me about how to do those key groups, right? Yes, bro, nearly got 5 likes on the skeleton key group. I like the title, bro. I like your titles for your packs, like Cooking Oil, Skeleton Key. I didn't get it at first, the last stream you mentioned it, the last time you mentioned it, but I get it. That's dope. But yeah, we just need one more like on that post. So if you guys can navigate over there, World Needs a Hero. This World Needs a Hero, bro. What's good, man? I don't know if you've clicked on that link yet. If you could, go click on it because SimCity has got some free key groups for us. So yeah, man, we're gonna check this out here. Just chatting it up. You guys want to chat it up for a second? Just leave it in the comments, and then at some point, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I guess I'll just get right to it. I ain't got nothing else on the agenda. But other than yeah, other than that, like over the weekend, a little bit disappointed. No need to be because I got plenty of tools for creating. But yeah, I was curious to see if Akai put out a new NPC. I don't think it'll be too long though, because it's really starting to seem official. With like Sweetwater Guitar Center, and then now my go-to Zounds. If you try to type in NPC Live over at Zounds, it doesn't even bring up any kind of search results. So that seems pretty dang official. And I don't know, man. I should resist, but like I am looking at that bento, the 1010 Music bento. Never used a 1010 Music product, but it looks pretty on point. Like it looks good. Ollie Star, what's good, brother? Saving for the new MPC. Yeah, I mean that'd be the good, probably the best idea. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and I'm gonna drop the overhead on this real quick and zoom in. And we'll start to do this. So, from my understanding of SimCity's question, I don't know if you want to clarify anything before I get into it. Just make sure. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take two different plugins, two different tracks, and I might have one sending out to the other. So when I play it on the keys or the pads, whatever, it's gonna trigger the second one, right? And then I'm gonna do an auto sample thing so that I have those baked in to one sound. So I think your question was more about like how to save a preset. And I could show how to save a preset, but for individual plugins, I don't think there's a way. I've never looked at. I can't imagine a way of saving a preset for two separate plugins, but you could save those individually and then call them up. And that's probably the most flexible thing you can do. So if you just pull up those plugins anytime, just pull up those layers. So maybe we'll go over that, and then the other idea is just to resample it using the auto sampler. Where's my chat at? Let's go live. Bento looks nice for sure. Yeah, it does. It does. It does. And I'm opening up more to the idea of that 2x8 pad layout. Yeah, let's bake it in. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to grab two sounds. I'm not going to do a lot of changes, like, because that's all up to you what you want to do with it, like as far as the sound design. So, but this will be the basic idea. Keep that like that. I already had this open. All right, so plugin. Let's go ahead and do two right off. Another plugin. My idea was I'm gonna go ahead and do. Let me get like an organ sound and a choir sound. Let's go with that one for now. And then over here, let's go piano. Not piano. Fabric. This lighting. Okay. Edit instrument. Go to the initialize. Find my categories. This is the best. Like if you're messing with Fabric, it's better to just go in here if you want like the raw sounds, because every Fabric preset has two. And that's just one way in general. So of course, if you want to use two different plugins, I don't know which plugins you're looking at messing with. But with the Fabric, you got two layers, so you can build your own presets with two layers here if you want. But if you want to do across different plugins, and that's a different story, right? But I'm gonna just use one of these layers, right, and control it, have it layered with a different sound. So see, and then when you use this initialize and just go into these, you get the raw sound with like really no effects and all that preset. So you have like a better like plain starting point to start affecting these in the way that you want. All right, so I got that. Track 1, gospel 3, organ, and then I got the choir over here. So this is really simple. All you got to do is click on, you know, the channel strip on the side, bring that out, and then usually it starts right here. You're on level by default, so click all the way over to I/O. And then towards the bottom, right here, towards the middle bottom, let's say, there's a send to option. So just turn that, and immediately the first thing is the very next track. So I got plugin 2. So now when I press the keys or the pads, so I'm playing keys over here. You can hear them both, but one thing I'd want to do also is maybe just go into the mixer. I'm gonna have the choir a bit louder. So there you go. So that's it, really. And then if I wanted to do like effects, because I'm gonna say auto sample this, I could put some effects. I could do it individually, but if I want to, go on the master output, and let's say I'm gonna run it through. Let's do like the Air Flavor Pro. This is gonna mess my voice up too. Harmonic. Maybe just find a preset here, SP1200. Okay. And then close all that out. Auto sample. I'm gonna do like something real simple. I'm not gonna do a bunch of octaves so that it's really quick. We'll just leave the note stride at 6. So y'all know about the note stride will be like how many notes in between each note that gets sampled. So like every 6 notes is gonna get sampled in this case. I'm gonna just do like 1 octave. So it's really quick. Let's go to C3. And we'll go like, it's probably gonna be like 2 notes. All right, and then I could name this down here. Just gospel choir organ. I'm gonna turn the looping off. Note length, super short. Keep it quick. And then let me turn my mic. All right, so I thought I had messed up because I don't remember setting my input to resample. I think it might have done it on its own up here. Yeah. Record from input 1 and 2. All right. Yeah, I don't recall changing that, but somehow it's still recorded. So I was going to say prior to that, make sure it's on resample so you're sampling the output of the MPC, but for some reason it seemed to work. So there we are. So here it is. That's it. That's all it really was. And then you got a preset baked into a key group just like that. Let's see what you got, guys. So I'll probably get into like answering these questions now if you guys have some suggestions, future videos or future streams, and then we'll see. I'm trying to see if I can also like take advantage of that and chop it into a video. And what's cool is once it's baked in and cooked, you could bounce more on top. I'm trying to picture what you mean. Roz Poe was good. How do you get more Fox than just was that effects than just 4 on the 3.0. I can't figure out for the life of me. You mean more than 4 presets or more than 4 inserts? It's still 4 inserts. But the one workaround would be to like send your pad or your track through a submix. So then you could take advantage of 4 there and then, well, not right there technically, but 4 on the track, and then say you put you send it through a submix, and then you can put 4 more. Does that make sense? So what you would have to do is just go IO and switch this from out 2 to like say sub 1. And then you can still use these effects, right? Just for example, let me put a reverb. Right? And then since it's going through sub 1, I can go over here. This is always kind of tricky. I feel like it's going to be easier. All right, so now I can go to sub 1 and then add effects onto that here as well. So yeah, there you go. So you got 4 there on the submix, 4 there on the actual track, and you can just go from there. But I'm not gonna actually put all those on there. So there you go. Right, Ali Star confirming what I was saying there. Even if it's audio, to build a better vocal chain. Yeah, if it's audio, same premise, man. Because everything is a track, so you can send your audio track through to a submix too. Right, everything is audio except the MIDI tracks. So B-Jam was good. You sell that push 3 yet? Swift Dreamer, what's good, man? Just found your channel with Sonito Tempo Pad C16 for sure. And Koala. Have you done a video comparing your workflow on Koala, the MPC Live, and the 404? No, I haven't. I don't know. I sometimes think about doing comparison videos, but I don't know if I have enough interest in it to do those kinds of things. I think maybe I'm more likely to do a stream where I can just sit in front of a couple machines. Like the main one that I've thought about doing, actually not like Koala and the SP, but more like the SP and the Lo-Fi 12 XT, if you've seen that one, because I feel like they got kind of similar capabilities, and like I think they have like kind of instant gratification when it comes to like sampling stuff and dealing with the sounds, and the price points are similar. So, but I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if I'll do that. I did have a video of mine for that as well, though. Like as far like doing because there's some things that are lacking on the SP that I would like to see that are on the Lo-Fi 12 XT and on the MPC and stuff, and I might do some comparison in that regard in order to like maybe promote or suggest these feature updates for the SP that I feel like should be in it, and it should have been like years ago. So I'm hopeful, but I'm not. I don't know. I'm realistic. I feel like if they overlook certain little details in this that for this long, then it's probably not likely that we're gonna see it in the SP. How long did you have that push 3 for? Can't you just return it? Has it been past the 30 days? Okay, Rose, but you got a video idea. Cool. I'd like to see more of your writing process and just more making songs start to finish because your music is dope. I appreciate that. And it's nice to see the process plus the finished project. Yeah, man, I appreciate that, man. I've been trying to get that. It's just, I'm so slow. Like it took me, so I made like a vocal recording video on the MPC one. And then it probably took me like 2 years. And at that point, I was already like vocalizing the idea that I want to write songs. But it took me like 2 years before I even completed a song. I got to that point. So like my transition to do things differently kind of takes a while. And that's already been on my agenda. I just, I don't know. Like when it's something that's really important to me, like I want to do it right. And I guess I maybe hesitate a little bit out of fear. And I can't be living out of fear. So but I in the last couple of days, I kind of had an epiphany because not everything. I don't have a lot of time just to sit right here and try to just. And I do it in streams sometimes and come up with a song, but sometimes the ideas just don't flow, right? So like I'll sit here, I'll do a live stream, and I'll try to come up with a hook at the very least, and it just doesn't come. And so for me to sit here and make a video or sit down with for the 1 hour that I have, whatever it is, and then not come up with something that's like, oh man. So it's kind of I don't know, frustrating is the word. I'm kind of hesitant, but I've got some ideas that I figured I could, cause like with most videos, I'm like I'm trying to be way too real with this. Like I don't want anything to be rehearsed, but like usually when I make a video, and it kind of clicked with me, it's like when I make a video, I usually write an outline if it's like a tutorial, and I usually get a sample ready, and uh and then I make the video because that's smart. It's a smart thing to do. The best way to utilize my time to be more efficient. So I figured, all right, I got these songs that are already started. Why not just showcase that rather than like, I don't have to pretend like I'm making this on the spot, but I can be like, oh, I got this sample, chop it up. And then I think that'll still be something. That'll be cool. So, cause I've got like 5 songs and that I'm like currently working on that have like hooks, and like at least 2 of them got like the 2 verses. So it's pretty much done. And then I've got a couple others that got like 1 verse. So I feel like I could probably still showcase that in a way where it's, I don't know if I'm expressing this the way that I want to, like, but I just been hesitant to do it because I want to do it the right way and not be like goofy about it. But yeah, thank you, Ross Poe. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've got a couple videos with the Lo-Fi 12 XT. It's by Sonicware. It's a cool little piece. Oh, you bought it used. I see. Looking at the torso. Is that a sampler? I know I've heard of the torso, and I can kind of picture it. Yeah, I feel like you just can't make up your mind over there. Because you were just saying you don't even need a controller. So what is the torso? Is that a sequencer or a sampler? What is it? But I get it. I know what it's like, man. And I'm looking at the bento now just for fun. DJ Rec and the Ill Robot was good. Ali Star, it was some good advice last night or whenever it was. Raul, much help. Gonna finish my drums. I'm doing, then reformat myself. That's what's up, man. Good to hear. Just, yeah, man. I think that's what it is. Like the last thing I was saying in that stream was, the popular phrase, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So just try something different and let go of the process that isn't really serving you, for sure. Like I had to take that advice myself. As far as the features on the SP, no ego though. What's good, by the way? As far as features on the SP, really simple stuff. Like one thing is like, let me just go ahead and show you. It's not even a feature. I feel like this is just a thing that the SP is lacking. Hold up. All right, so I do have a sample here, right? Let me just put it on. I actually chopped this out of SimCity's, one of his cooking oil packs. I think it was volume 3. So like look, so I can put this in a mute group, and this is ideally how I like to chop, right? Most people probably chop using this. And I do that sometimes, but sometimes I just want to chop. I'll have drums down here and I want to chop up here, for example. I'll just put it there. Let's just pretend like this is like a sample. It's not drums, and I got some drums down here, right? So if I go shift mute group, and I usually put my chops in C. Right, so it's on a mute group. If I copy this, let me turn the loop off. I'll just put it on gate. I'll usually have gate off it just for right now while I'm talking. It's not just playing out. If I copy this, and it's just the way that it's programmed, and I go over to the mute group. Hold up. Okay, so this is in mute group C, right? See? Copy. Go back to the mute group. This new pad is not in there. So it's kind of tedious to go in every time and you're in that process of chopping something and put it in a mute group. Which is funny because, like, you know, maybe it's a limitation of how it works. You can only do 16 pads, I think, per mute group. But like if I turn the volume down, let's turn sync off. Let me delete this one. All right. But I could do stuff like volume, or even, let's say, pan. Now it's all the way to the right. And if I copy that, it's interesting that volume information, the panning information, and even if I did like the pitch information is all copied, right? But the mute group information is never copied, which I think is kind of a beat maker's kind of a headache. It's a frustration, like especially if you chop like this. I guess if you're an old head, I put myself in that category because I'm in my late 30s. And I chop like this. You know, I used to chop like this before I even had my first MPC didn't even have a chop function. Okay, so yeah, there's that. And then the other one I need to pull out, because the MPC does this, right? The MPC does what I'm asking to be able to do here. I think it's a very simple thing. And then yeah, and then on the other chopping bit, like if you were to chop here and then you export it, let's just export it. Auto mark or assign pads. So you just chop it there. Right? Okay, and then you got your chops, but maybe people that use SPs like to work with gate where chops don't really matter, but then you got to assign these into a chop. Which, whatever, it's not that bad. But I think the chopping could be a lot better. Like with the Lo-Fi 12XT, two things that could be improved here. Like the chromatic mode, and I'll tie that into the chopping. The chromatic mode is still only 2 octaves, so it's like 24 keys. 24 notes, I think, 2 octaves. They should expand this to like 32 at least, 1 more octave, right? You expand it 1 more octave, get 12 more notes, and then how this ties into the chopping, the way that the chopping works on the Lo-Fi 12XT is it's non-destructive. So if I chop this up, then it's still gonna, and then I exit the chop window, the slices are saved to the single sample. So rather than having it take up, say if I chopped it into 16, rather than taking up a whole bank, it's still 1. And the way that the Lo-Fi 12XT works is when you got that pad selected and you hit the chromatic mode on there, the little keyboard for it, then it references the chops. Okay. So that would, for one, save a lot of space on your banks. And then if they could increase it, so now that we say we have 12 or 36, 3 octaves on chromatic mode, then also give us the ability to chop. So just like the MPC, when you chop after 16 pads, you just keep chopping and you can get up, say, we can get up to 32. So then when we go into keyboard mode, it references all the slices non-destructively, right? So that's a bonus on so many levels, so many more free pads. And then here's another one. You know how when you turn chromatic mode on and you press remain, you have these modes. By default, it's on mono mode. You seen that? So by default, you wouldn't even have to put it into a mute group. So mute groups could be something completely separate when it comes to your chops. If it's on mono, then these chops are going to chop themselves off. So that's just my idea. And it's not 100% originally my idea, but I feel like if you improve the chromatic mode, give us another octave, and then I know it's probably a big ask to completely change the method of how this works. It would be a pretty big update and programming thing, because I don't even know anything about programming, I imagine. So I give them the benefit of the doubt that it's a difficult thing to do, since I have no idea how to do it. So just on the surface level, seeing it from another machine, just the fact that like all these different samplers have non-destructive chopping, and just implementing that with the keyboard, like I've seen with the Lo-Fi 12XT, and then the mute groups would be instant, because it's just kind of like the MPC. When you export a chop program, like you chop it up in the trim screen and export it to a program, it actually doesn't put it in mute groups. It just sets the program to mono. So it'd be kind of like an MPC where the samples are just chopping stuff off because the polyphony is only one. That would be great. And then you also like it kind of solves, I don't know, I'm just thinking like you could do, and that's why a lot of these things are like this, like so when something's in a mute group, right? That's why we have stuff like this on the SP, where you can hold copy and then make changes to it multiple pads at once. But if it was all just on one pad, you could just, just affect it once and then without even having to hold another button. So yeah, there's that. But I don't know. I think it's a dream. It's a really dope idea. That would, those two things would make it better. And then there's simpler stuff too that probably no one cares about but me. But like, and I asked for this and I got it, so I should be happy. And I'm still asking for more. Just the ability to name these samples. Like this could be better. So like when you click on this, you got to scroll through the upper cases and the lower cases. So like they should implement just a shift and just make it a toggle where it shifts from lowercase to uppercase. And then make it possible so you can dial in the numbers rather than scrolling to the numbers. Press the buttons, because that's possible here in the time stretch thing, where you can use the numbers to type in, right? And then it's kind of like the old, like my old MPC 500, you were able to use the pads actually, because it's kind of like a phone dial pad where there's different letters under the pads, right? And you just press it a few times to get to the right letter. I'm not asking for that, but just a shift would be good rather than having to scroll all the way over just to get to your lower cases and your capitals and stuff. And then numbers on the pads. Not a big deal. See, it's just simple stuff. But the main thing I would want to see is the chop function. At very least, copy the mute group, because I think that's got to be simpler than asking for like a whole new way of chopping non-destructively. But I can hope in that. That would be real nice. I don't expect it though. But that's why I wanted to make a video, because I don't know if Roland has even thought of it at all, if it's anything that they've even seen. I've challenged the idea whether the programmers are beat makers, because I don't know how many people who are beat makers, at least from my kind of generation. Okay. Yeah, my phone had just overheated because I forgot to put the fan on it, but I put it back up and I was able to get back in here. But I was reading some of your comments, well, about this whole situation. I see B Jam, and I think I see you mentioned this before. I really don't. I don't know about the whole touchscreen thing. They might as well just make a new machine, you know, if they're gonna go ahead and do that, because I think that's one of the beautiful things about the SP is its simplicity. But I feel like there's some things that some limitations on it that don't need to exist, and it's not because of the fact that it doesn't have a touchscreen. I mean, I would welcome something like that for sure. Like, I would if they could make something like this, I'd welcome it. I don't think it needs a touchscreen, but I would still mess with it for sure if it had a touchscreen. You know, they could make it the maybe just some of that stuff like maybe the MFX buttons would all be touchscreen. If you just like made this whole thing a touchscreen, it would look like you remember when they Korg put out that sampler that people at first thought was going to be a SP Mark II what do you killer, but it really wasn't. It ended up just being a sample player. It didn't even have a sequencer in it. Because they made something that looked like this. It had like a touchscreen. The size was about the same footprint as this. So yeah, I mean, that could be a cool thing. And then you could just have like an MFX screen with the buttons on the actual touchscreen. But I don't know. I feel like they could still do something with this. I don't really like the. I don't use a lot of effects. I don't like the whole insert. Like it's just two. It's really like two master effects. I know you actually got like four, but you can only access two of them from the front. Um, but I don't know. Just those things that I was asking for would make it a whole lot greater. And I think they could still because like the machine, if they did like a piano roll in the pattern sequencer, that's another thing. Like these knobs aren't really utilized in the pattern sequencer, and that's one thing I think I feel like I missed was also like playhead and being able to move stuff around. Like these knobs could be used if you made a little. I mean, the Lo-Fi 12 XT is tiny. The screen is smaller than this, and it has not the Lo-Fi 12 XT. Excuse me. The what is it? The sample track, which is the same footprint as that, has the same screen. That's got a little grid edit, and you can affect stuff with the knobs and select them. Like you could implement this somehow to select notes and stuff. Maybe if you like press the pad and then it selected the note, and then you could move it around or something like that. Like it's possible, but I guess it's a pretty big ask, and you're right, it'd be a lot easier with a touchscreen. But I don't know. I feel like it's kind of what makes it great is the lack of that and the simplicity of it. So if they could do it, but still keep it kind of simple, but whatever. I had seen another comment. Ro said he did a song. Dropped my first song, made it on the One Plus. Yeah, I like to see that. Uh, I need to see if I can go over to your channel, bro. Is it up on your channel? I'm gonna sub up, dude. Rospo. I'd like to hear the song, man. So let me know where I can find it at. Um, or what it's called. Tell us what it's called. Don't even put a link because it'll probably auto block it. Let's see. Button comment ridiculous now. Yeah, I guess it is. I don't use a lot of the extra features though. The stuff that I want should just be added in, without really needing a button combo. Nah, it does not have that shift to lower upper alphabet. They got that in the MC 101. See? It's kind of weird. I had read there was like someone shared an article. It's a pretty good read. It was like an interview with the developer of the 404 Mark II and also like the developer of the original, like the SX or the OG one. It was kind of interesting. There was one comment he made that kind of stood out, and it almost felt like they were suggesting that it was done, like they weren't gonna do anything. But I could just be reading into stuff. But he made a comment about like he said something like there's a certain clumsiness that I want to, that they're aiming for with the SP in order to like leave it up to the user to be creative. So some of the limitations might be intentional. So yeah, that also kind of kills my hopes a little bit with some of the things that I want to see. Let's see. Yeah, the stream had cut off. Mine is also having issues, so it might be the connection. Yeah, it was just I said it earlier, my phone overheated. It often does, because I forgot to put this thing on it. This is a little fan. I guess it's meant for gaming. Someone had suggested this a couple years back, and it seems to work. And it lasts for like half an hour, so it'll keep my phone cool, and I could do the stream a little bit longer. I just had forgotten to put it up there. I think they dropped the ball with going all in on the DJ mode stuff. Nobody does serious DJing with this thing. It would be like a tattoo artist using a ballpoint pen to make tattoos. Yeah, that's kind of. I mean, it would have been cool as like a add amongst like a bunch of other features. I think that's why people were disappointed. And people like the koala integration. I mean, that's more suited for beat makers, but I think it makes. I don't hate it, but I don't like the fact that they didn't put anything else in it for the beat makers, because that really was the SP has created its own little culture of beat makers. But I think when they first made it, the SP, what the intent was actually just to be a player for samples for DJs on the side. So I mean, it makes sense that they did that integration. But yeah, like I agree, it should have been one of at least like 5 solid new things. Yeah, it makes sense. That would make sense too. That would be the right size. Like iPhone size. This is not an iPhone, but about the same. Android touchscreen. I think it could work. Could work on this or even an MPC Mini. Yeah, I never used the companion yet, but that makes sense. A touchscreen on the SP would make it 3 times more complicated. Yeah, I don't use those features that much to say it's a problem, like mortal button combos. That's funny though. Yeah, everything would probably be in a menu dive versus, I don't know, it could work. It could be an interesting thing, but I don't know. Maybe just make a whole new machine that's inspired by the SP and some other things. I wonder if they'll make that new Roland MV and make it touchscreen. I think the old Roland wasn't a touchscreen. The MV 8800. Yeah, no ego. At least like the MIDI notes, I think would be cool. I don't care if the 404 isn't touchscreen, to be honest. Yeah, me neither. Just update the internal hardware to work better with the companion app, and then turn the app off. The SP keeps all the info for the beat. I think it'd be nice if we could do like inserts for the effects, rather than having to like switch through them and like sample them. But I guess that's part of the charm of what made it so popular, you know? So maybe that's why they're trying to keep to that. Yeah, cause that's pretty much all I use is cassette, the 303. I used to use the 404, but I don't use it as much anymore. I don't like the sound of it as much as like the cassette now. Roland is infamous for its button combos. Yeah, see, I don't use the SP like that, like most people do for like performing with the effects. Yeah, that'd be cool. MV1 could be doper, like just a slightly larger screen. I think if they blended the MV1 with the SP, that could be cool. Yeah, smaller MPC Live would be cool too. That's what I want, DAP1. Honestly, the lo-fi in the P6 sounds better than the one in the 404. Oh, I doubt a new MV device is being made anytime soon since the MV1 flop. Yeah, it did, didn't it? In my opinion, Akai got it right. Back had a split kind of like 404 for lo-fi. Extra 4K on the 48K leaves some nicer highs. All right. Yeah. Well, that's really all I had on the agenda, folks. So, hey, I'm gonna make one wild prediction, and we'll see something from Akai tomorrow morning. We'll see. I think they're just trying to keep us on our toes because I feel like they might be avoiding letting the community be right because everybody was like, "Oh, they're gonna, the lives discontinued. They're gonna, Akai's about to present something new at Super Booth. Without a doubt, we'll see something." I don't think they want us being right. I don't think they want to be predictable anymore. That's my prediction. Akai doesn't want to be predictable. So if they hear me say they're gonna promote something tomorrow morning, I was right. If they don't show something tomorrow morning, I was right. They just heard me say it. All right. But whatever. Jokes aside, something will be here soon. We know this very much, at least. You don't discontinue an MPC Live 2. That a bestseller, you don't discontinue an MPC Live 2. You don't have an FCC ID with confidentiality agreements with the external photos and pictures hidden for a time period. Yeah, you don't do that unless you got something coming. And you don't do that unless you got an MPC Live 3 coming. Right? Do we all agree? Do we? But yeah, I'm out. I'm going to jump off here. I got other things to do. Maybe I'll be back tomorrow. We'll see. I'm going to take everything into consideration everyone said. I think the best confirmation for me was up there. I forget who said it, man. I feel like your name's new on here. Was it Swift Dreamer? Yeah, so the main thing that lines up, and that's dope that it was put in here. I really appreciate it when someone says something that aligns with what I want to do. It's like, that's awesome, because I've been overthinking it too much. So pretty much doing songwriting process on videos, making songs in videos, and I've done it a couple times. I've just never done it from I guess I've done it in streams, but that's not really concise. So like an edited video. I've done them from work, just not from home right here. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. Well, I appreciate y'all. Thanks for chilling with me once again. And usually I appreciate you. Till the next one. Hold up. All right. Peace, fellas. God bless.